We need to hold Russia accountable internationally. This requires a diplomatic effort to explain to everybody what's going on, what Russia has been doing, and why we ask for the Russian condemnation at the United Nations. We already summoned Russian ambassadors to the European Union and in member states, and all our delegations and embassies has been instructed in order to work actively to explain to partner countries the danger of Putin's aggressive behavior. It's not just a problem of Ukraine, it's not just a problem of the European Union, it's a problem of the international community. And Russia needs to see that it's going to be isolated from the international community. We are mobilizing support for the vote in the United Nations Security Council this evening. We know that Russia will veto this proposal, but then it will go to the General Assembly. And there we will have the temperature, we'll see how many people support this condemnation of the aggressive attitude of Russia. To prepare this process, I've been spoken with the foreign ministers of China, India, and others to explain them that it is not about Ukraine, it is about the respect for international rules and United Nations Charter. Putin launched a war against a neighbor during an emergency session of the United Nations Security Council in Ukraine. It shows the respect that Russia has for these institutions. And now they are attacking verbally. Even Secretary General, the United Nations Secretary General, is being attacked by Russia for speaking up in favor of peace and respect of international rules. This is about the United Nations. Follow on the next days the result of the vote, both at the Security Council this evening and in the General Assembly later. But apart from the United Nations, we are seeing the first reactions. The first one, I welcome very much that the Council of Europe, the Council of Ministers, adopted the decision to suspend Russian rights of representation in the organization. And all EU 27 member states supported this unanimously. Let me say one thing about that. This does not entail Russian expulsion from the organization. It is in the interest of the Russian citizens to keep benefiting from the protection granted by the European Convention of Human Rights. Then Russia has also been excluded from the Eurovision Song Contest. It may look as small things from the geopolitical point of view, but they will have a wide social resonance. Also from the Champions League final that will not be held in St. Petersburg, and the Russian Formula One Grand Prix has also been cancelled due to the actions of the Russian leaderships. As for Ukraine as such, we need to continue our support in any way that we could. There was a clear consensus about that. And finally, let me stress the importance of a point which is related with information war. Lies and disinformation are streamed from Russia by now, even from the highest political place. If you follow, please follow the reports of our strategic communication team who debug and curtail the disinformation flow. You will see how do they consider Zelensky as a war criminal, a Nazist, using the words genocide in order to justify the invasion of Ukraine, which had the purpose of avoiding Zelensky committing genocide against the Russian-speaking people on the Donbas region, and saying that when they will seize Kyiv, they will do the same thing that in Nuremberg. to send to the court the people responsible for genocide. This kind of disinformation has to be combated, debunked, and curtailed. And then there is the danger and risk that other countries in the neighborhood of Russia can be suffering. We need to strengthen our support to Moldavia and Georgia, and look at the Western Balkans, because we will see provocations in the Western Balkans, especially in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and in order to support the stability of the country, I decided to mobilize the reserve force of the Althea operation, which means to deploy 500 militaries of this mission in the ground. This is going to happen in the next days. And that's it, more or less, what I wanted to tell you about this important meeting with the Foreign Affairs Council, where, according with the treaty, has been taken the decision about sanctions on Russia.
Thank you very much, High Representative. Colleagues, I only complete that the work of our experts fighting disinformation is published regularly on the website eu versus disinfo.eu.